welcome back to another video. If you're already subscribed, welcome back, my darling. But if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Join a part of the family, the community that we have growing here on YouTube. And while you're down there subscribing, because I have faith that you will, also turn your notification bell on for all notifications to become a part of the Morgan Shay. Notify, gang. Today's video is the monthly collaboration with Kai Styles here on YouTube. Please go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Support someone who supports me. He is a kind soul. And our collaboration today is bridal makeup. So I know that it's spring wedding season, and with COVID, a lot of people can't afford a makeup artist. Compared to 2019, I'm at about 60%. So this is a tutorial for any brides who may not be able to, it's not in their budget for an MUA for their wedding. So I thought that this was the perfect plan. A 2021 spring bridal tutorial on my channel. Male face, you can head over to Kai Styles' channel and see that tutorial. His Instagram and Facebook is linked below. He goes live on Facebook about every single day. He also posts on Instagram daily as well. So please be sure to go and subscribe to Kai Styles. So I want to start out in the beginning, okay? So this is not the time for you all to be trying new skincare regimens, okay? If you want to add a new piece to your skincare regime, you want to do that at least 4 months before the wedding. Once you do your skincare, you want to be sure that you do it the night before and the day of. I'm going to go ahead and go through everything that is already done. Skincare is done. The first thing you want to do is you want to moisturize. Again, you want to use a moisturizer that you already know works for your skin. In the spring only, and I think it's because of my allergies, I have combination skin. For me, I used the Fenty Skin Moisturizer. This also has an SPF, so I don't have to go in and add another. You do want to be sure that you're doing an SPF regardless of an indoor or outdoor wedding. After I give that a few moments to set on the skin, I then want to go in with a good either pore filling. This is all going to depend on your skin type. Pore filling or tacky primer. This is going to be what I like to call the base primer. For me, I use a tacky primer. In my wedding day, I would go in with the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. This is a very tacky primer, and this is what I used today. And it's just going to have the makeup stick to the skin, which is what I would want to make that sure that makeup is going to stay all day. I did all of this on Instagram Live, and I did post it on my IGTV. So if you want to go and see the beginning steps of this, my Instagram is linked below. The next primer that you want to use is what I like to call the reflective primer. So the primer that is going to give you that beautiful glowy skin like you can see on me right now. I've had these primers on for about 20 minutes. My favorite is the Becca Backlight Primer. That is what is on my skin now. Next, you want to then do your brows. Now, this is going to be different depending on each individual person. All of our brows are different, but you want to keep your brows as more and close to what your brows actually look like. So I went in with the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in the shade 4. I did do a very light brow filling. You want to shape your brow very softly. Again, you do want to look like just a more enhanced, just like your most beautiful self, whatever makes you feel beautiful. All of this is up to discretion on the individual person. Use the Kevin Kwan Sensual Skin Enhancer Concealer in the shade SX01. This is a very long-lasting concealer. It's not very heavy. If you use it in the right way, it's beautiful, and it also highlights the brow bone area, and it covers up any pinky, purpley blue tones on your lid. Because I do have spots in my brows that are sparse, and I needed to add a little bit of pigment and brow-like strokes, I went in with the Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade 3. So now that we are all caught up here, now it's time for the eyeshadow portion. The first one is the Laura Lee Los Angeles Nudie No. 2 palette. As a soft transition, I'm gonna go into the shade Low Cut, and I'm gonna very lightly just run that through the crease. Now, Low Cut does have a little bit of a pink tint to it. It's like a pinky transition. So this is like the perfect transition shade. That is just everything to me for a wedding. So after I get that little wash of color on the crease, I'm then gonna go in with the shade Blushing, which is this beautiful like pink with a little hint of shimmer. I'm gonna put that on the L18 brush by Laura Lee Los Angeles, and I'm just going to dust that through the crease as well, and just add a little bit of dimension to the lid. I'm just going back in with that previous brush, and I'm just hitting the edges. I want those two shades to basically just become one. So now I just want a little bit more pinkiness in the look. So I'm gonna go into the Eternal Eden quad, and I'm gonna take this pink Mystique right here, and I'm gonna add just a little bit into the outer corners. This gives you that really sweet, blushing, springy bride vibe. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the crease with the Kevyn Kwan Sensual Skin Enhancer Concealer. Once you get that cut crease done, at that point, I just wanna go in and press that concealer in with my finger. Then I'm gonna go into the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. I'm gonna take the matte number 1, which is this white, creamy white shade, and I'm just gonna dust that very lightly over that area just to kind of set it and give it a little bit of a brighter pigment. I'm gonna go back into the Eternal Eden quad, and I'm gonna take that shade Pink Mystique one more time, and I'm just going to kind of airbrush run that shade through the outer corner just so you get rid of any like harsh edges or anything like that. And then after I kind of press the pigment there, I'm gonna tap off any excess off of the brush, and then I'm just gonna kind of flick it forward. And that's gonna give you like that airbrushed look. Just gonna take my finger and I'm going to just rub that white very lightly. At this point, I really like to use some type of shimmer on the bride. I would do it for myself as well. Shades that you would want to stick to would be, depending on your skin tone, would be like a beautiful silver, champagne, gold. And one of my favorites for my skin tone is a ColourPop Super Shock shadow in the shade Ladybird. It's this beautiful like light champagne. It's so beautiful, and it adds this beautiful reflective to the eye. When photos are taken, it just draws attention to the eye. So I want to use my finger. That is the best way to apply it over the white. You're basically using that white as a base. And I'm just going to tap that over top of the white with my finger very easily and carefully. Take your time, and we're gonna start at the back towards the pink, and then we're gonna work our way over into the inner corner. And with that white underneath, it's going to like it's gonna add this brightness in underneath to where you don't have to like load that shimmer shade on your lid, because that's the last thing you want. You want it to look like this beautiful just wash of reflective. It adds a little extra something, but it's still very subtle and very just beautiful. So because of my high pigmentation, I would really want that covered. One of my favorites here lately, which what we're gonna go in with first, is the KVD Apple Balm Foundation. This is in the shade Light 018. I am going to take a foundation paddle brush, and I'm just gonna put this on those like worst areas down here. If you are oily, stay away from this foundation. Do not even go towards it. The next foundation that I would go in with on my wedding day is the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation in the shade Warm Ivory. This is a very orangey undertoned foundation, which does a lot of cancellation for me. And I am going to just add a little bit here and underneath the eye area, just to really do some canceling out under the nose, the bridge of the nose, and right here on the forehead. First, I'm gonna go in with the L11 by Laura Lee Los Angeles. This is a foundation kabuki. And I'm just gonna go ahead and blend these foundations together first with the foundation brush. Really make sure that our skin is covered. For me, I would really only use high coverage foundations on my wedding day. Then just to be sure that we don't have any brush strokes, I'm gonna go in with a actual beauty blender, and I'm just going to press everything into the skin. For concealer, on my wedding day, I would only use one, and the one that I would suggest is the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealer. This is a really beautiful liquid concealer, and it's full coverage, and it's all that you would need, especially if you've already mixed your foundations like I just did. You really wouldn't need to go in with very much concealer anyways. We're basically doing this for brightening purposes at this point. You do just want to make sure that you are using a concealer, again, that works with your skin type, and you know that is going to last all day long. With the L12 brush by Laura Lee Los Angeles, and I'm going to go ahead and start to blend out this concealer. And I'm also going to take from the inner corners here, I'm just going to start patting that pigment there on the inner corner just to bring a lot of attention here to the center of the face. And I'm going to bring that concealer up to the bridge of my nose right here, and that's just going to help with the very light nose contour that we're going to do. I'm also gonna blend this concealer down into my smile lines here, into the chin, and then we're just gonna start to blend right here on the jawline. And then we can go back up and we can start to blend back underneath the eye. You just don't want too much of a heavy concealer there. I'm just gonna go in all of those areas and make sure that it is completely flat. We don't have any creasing or anything going on. Now that we're ready to set, what I love to do first is I like to go in with my actual setting powder that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna use the Dragon Beauty Translucent Setting Powder in the shade Pink. And I'm gonna use that everywhere that I just concealed, and in all other places, I'm gonna go in with the Lancome Absolute Powder in the shade Absolute Golden. This can be very scary looking because it is a pinky tone, but trust me when I say it's so beautiful. So we're gonna take the Beauty Blender and we are going to start setting the face. And since our eyeshadow is already done, I like to press that powder into the skin. Powder, honey, your makeup ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna go in with the Lancome powder. What I like to do first though is take a setting mist. I'm gonna go in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I'm gonna spray my face, and you might as well just keep the lid off because we're gonna be using that a lot for the rest of the wedding tutorial. And you wanna just go ahead and press all of that powder into the skin. And we're gonna go in with the Lancome Absolute Powder. I'm gonna do the same thing, take it on a beauty blender, and I'm gonna start on the cheekbone and work our way down. I'm not gonna take this too high up underneath the eye. And this is gonna add this gorgeous glow to the skin. It's also gonna give you like this very light, sun-kissy glow. It's so beautiful. I learned about this powder from Jaclyn Hill, and ever since she talked about it, I have it in several shades, but absolutely, look at that. Absolute Golden is just my favorite. It has this pinky tone, so it does look very, it just makes your skin look very natural. I mean, obviously you can tell that I have makeup on, no doubt, but it just, I don't know how to explain it, guys. It's so stinking beautiful, I can't. Again, we're gonna go in with more setting mist, and we're gonna press all of that into the skin. Brightening powder, this is going to be up to your own discretion. For me, I want a lot of brightening. I want the focus to be on my eyes. So I'm gonna go in with the Dragon Beauty Transformation Powder, and I'm gonna use the pink one with the beauty sponge. And I'm gonna take very little of that, and I'm really just gonna focus this on the inner corner and the bridge of the nose, and then whatever's left, I will drag out. And again, we're going to spray the face. Let's go and press everything in. We're gonna go ahead and do the lower lash line. Now, for weddings, I like to keep it very understated. I don't like to go in with a huge bunch of something underneath the eye on your wedding day. Take the shade Low Cut, which is that first transition shade that we used, and the brush that we used in the Pat McGrath, that Mystique Pink, is still on there. So you're gonna kind of mix the two together. So the first time that you go in, you really shouldn't even have to tap into Mystique Pink or Pink Mystique, but the second time you might. So just be sure to tap it off. You want to hold it very low on the brush. Start from that outer edge and work your way in. And you want to keep it very subtle. You do not want to go super low. Take that first brush that you used and then just kind of run it underneath it. The inner corner and brow bone, I'm going to use the Jaclyn Cosmetics. I love using loose highlights for the inner corner and brow bone on weddings. This is the shade Ant. It is very understated. It's very reserved. It's not too cacao. You know, it's the perfect shade for a wedding. It's a very pinky undertone, if you can see. It's like a champagne-y pink. It's so beautiful. And I'm just gonna take the L16 brush by Laura Los Angeles, and I'm gonna first go on the inner corners. That just opens up the eye so much. And just for a little extra something, I'm gonna go in the Laura Los Angeles Glazed Lit Kit, shade Diamonds, and I'm gonna add that over top. For contour, I want it to be super subtle, but I do want to shape the face. I'm gonna go in with the Jaclyn Cosmetics. The shade Oh Honey is such a gorgeous contour shade, and I'm gonna use the Morphe M143. This is my favorite brush to contour with. It's like this fan brush, and when you run it through like this, you're just able to really contour perfectly. So I like to start here in the back and then kind of move it forward, and you're able to really just cut the cheek, which is a super important part on a wedding day, to just cut the cheek. It just, it makes the blush just look so beautiful. And then we're going to go ahead and do my jawline here and add a little bit of dimension. I like to kind of shape it out and then sweep that product backwards. This brush is so easy. It literally does the work for you. And I'm gonna dip into Oh Honey very lightly. Listen to me, we're gonna do this very lightly. We're gonna be very easy, okay? And we're going to do dabbing motions, up, down, up, down, up, down for the nose contour. We want it to be very subtle. For the lower lip, I'm gonna do the same thing and just sweep it very lightly. Favorite bronzer for a wedding is the Marc Jacobs Coconut Omega Bronzer. This is in the shade Tantalize. This is so beautiful. I'm gonna use the L13 brush. If you haven't bought this brush set, by the way, they are worth every fucking penny. I'll have them linked below. So I'm just going to tap a couple of times on the very tip of the brush, and we're just gonna warm up the face a little bit, add that little sun-kissed glow, which is so beautiful on a bride. There are dupes for all of these products at the drugstore. The Physicians Formula Coconut Butter Bronzer, I think is what it's called, is a really good dupe for this bronzer right here. You're ready for wedding day blush. Milk Makeup in the shade Work. This is a liquid blush, but do not be scared. It's kind of like a balm, if you will, but we're gonna put it on our hand and we're gonna warm up that shade. Then we're gonna use a Duo Fiber blush brush. This is by Tom Ford, and we're gonna work that shade Work into the bristles, and then we're just going to smile and we're gonna start stamping that blush in place, and we want to work it up pretty high here. And I would, on my wedding day, take my blush right up and underneath the eye, just because that's how the sun naturally hits you. And look how fucking beautiful that is. I can't, it's just so beautiful. Blush is like the thing that has to happen on your wedding day. Over top of the shade Work, we're then gonna go back in to the Jaclyn Cosmetics Blush and Bronze Duo into the shade Pink Me Up. And we are going to use the exact same Tom Ford brush, and we are going to literally go boop, boop, boop. 3 dips. Don't tap anything off. I can see you. I can see you. Don't you do it. And we're just going to tap that right over top of the shade of work. And together, they just, look at that. I'm going to run it a couple of times down the bridge of our nose, just to kind of tie it all in together. It looks so beautiful. And also stamp it across the lips a couple of times.
I love nothing more than a fucking put down, glammed out wedding day glam. It's the most fucking beautiful shit I've ever seen in my life, and I will fight you. I will fight you.
Option I'm gonna use today is the shade Mesmerized by Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the most beautiful fucking highlight I've ever seen in my life. And I normally use for highlight, you guys know, is like this packing brush from Morphe. It's my favorite one to use. But I purchased this IT Cosmetics highlight brush a while ago, and it is my new obsession, especially for weddings, because it's like so loose. It just like dusts the highlight onto the skin. It's so fucking beautiful. So I'm gonna take the highlight and we're just going to very lightly dust that onto the skin. And it is so, so beautiful. So center of the forehead, chin as well with this L16 brush. I'm gonna take it on this and I'm going to put it right here on the very tip of the nose. And run it up the bridge just like I normally would. That we have all of our skin makeup on, we are going to take the glue. And my favorite is the Dragon Beauty Forever Fantasy Setting Mist. I'm gonna take this, shake it up, wipe the nozzle, give it a little bit of a dry down before you start to press. And then once you give it that dry down, go with your beauty sponge and press all of that into the skin. For the lower jawline, I do like to cut it on wedding days. I'm gonna use that same, but I'm gonna go in with the banana powder. And I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna cut it a little higher than normal. We have all of our powders done. I'm now gonna go in with the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Again, if your brows are super bushy, I would go in with the Got To Be hair gel. And just use like a spoolie and brush it through your brows. Now for mascara, I'm gonna use my 2 favorites. I'm gonna go in first with the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. I'm gonna do my top lashes. I'm gonna go in with the Benefit Roller Lash, and I'm gonna do my lower lash line. For the lips, first, I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop liquid lipstick in the shade Flurries. After that dries, I'm then gonna take the shade Myth by MAC, and I'm gonna take a little lip brush and I am going to ombre this, but I like to paint it on just because I do like the way that it looks a little bit better. This is actually a liner brush. I use them for lips. It's the L20 brush from Laura Lee Los Angeles, and I'm just gonna kind of create my own ombre. You can even put a little bit there in the middle of the lip and then kind of paint it out. For the wedding day, I don't personally think that that is the day that you should really go in with the gloss. It's just you're gonna be kissing, you're gonna be eating, you're gonna have photos taken. And if you want to add gloss for the photos, you're more than welcome to do that. But for me personally, I'm gonna keep it matte. I just think that's the way to go on your wedding day. However, if you wanted to add a little bit of a sheen into the middle of your lips, first of all, do be sure that it is a good gloss. I suggest the Pat McGrath. And what I would do is just take a little bit like on the back of your hand maybe, just like this right here, just a little bit, and then take it on your finger and just tap it there in the middle, just a little bit, just like that, and that will give a little bit of a glow to your lips. For lashes, I would still want to use a very, not too big, but still a lash. They're the Jamar lashes, and these ones right here are like the perfect like depiction of like what I would use on my day. But I would say the most popular lash that is requested on weddings for me is, or what I use, is the Wispies by Ardell, or the Double Up Wispies. Okay guys, here is the finished wedding day glam. I know these lashes are intense, but that is exactly what I would want on my wedding day. I would want my lashes to be just big. That's just my personal preference, but you should do whatever makes you feel beautiful. Brush off the powder. I just absolutely love it. This is so beautiful. That's why it's my go-to wedding day look for any bride, is because of just how beautiful it is. I also do always add an extra layer of mascara to the upper and lower lashes just before the bride does walk down the aisle. But I do hope you all did enjoy this makeup tutorial, and I hope it does come in handy for some of you brides out there this year. Also, be sure that you do go and subscribe to Kyle Styles, and all of his stuff is linked down below. As always, thank you, Kyle, for collabing with me this month. And we also decided that next month, we're gonna collab on a beauty and documentary breakdown. So he's gonna watch a documentary and I'm gonna watch a documentary. And we're gonna do a makeup tutorial and break down the documentary with you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Do be sure that you do follow me on all my social medias. It is all linked down below. If you have not already, please be sure that you do subscribe to this channel before you leave. Turn your notification bell on, do all the things. I love you all so fucking much. And until next time, bye guys. Whoopsh.